Hey guys, it's Saria. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be inspired by the Festival of the Arts, which is currently going on in Epcot. And I wanted to make these like Mickey paint palette ears. They are one of the lightest pairs of ears I've ever made, and I say that really sparingly, so y'all need to understand, like I only say it when it's 100% true. So we actually just got back from Disney World because we went for Christmas time, and we actually did Figment inspired looks while we were at Disney World, and I was artist Figment inspired by these earrings. And I wanted to point that out because I think that these would be really fun for a Figment Disney bound, specifically for the Festival of the Arts. These ears were pretty simple to make. The hardest thing is drilling the holes into the paint palette in order to attach them, but honestly, like, I say hard only because you need to have a drill. Actually doing it is really easy. The ears themselves have little paint blobbies, I don't know what to call them, that I did decide to shape like little Mickeys. And then the bow, I found this fabric at Joann's and it reminded me so much of Epcot, and I've just been holding onto it for the perfect project. But I love that it was purple and pink because that reminds me of Figment's colors, and he is like the mascot, if you will, for I think all of the festivals, right? Like all of the festivals? But he's like a mascot for Epcot, so either way, perfect. If you guys are interested in how I made these ears, then just keep watching.
So I got these little miniature paint palettes that are wooden from Walmart, and they're the same diameter just about of a normal Mickey ear, so I thought they'd be perfect for making a set of ears. Now they come painted white on one side and the other side is more of a natural blonde wood. I did at first attempt to do what I plan on doing on the natural wood side, and then I decided to paint the entire ear white so that it would match on both sides, but to be honest, I think I should have left it here because as you can see, I'm using Puffy Paint to make little Mickey paint splotches, if you will, kind of like that's the shape of the paint on the paint palette. And looking at the video now, I kind of wish I'd left it that natural wood color, but it's okay. You can still see it here, so if you prefer it that way, you'll be able to leave it that way. They do sell these on Etsy as well, so I will link the ones that I got, or at least I will find something similar for you guys, but they were pretty inexpensive. And so I'm just using colors that I like on the paint palette. I used pink, purple, blue, yellow, a lighter blue, and then I do end up adding red and orange as well. But I just wanted to show you guys what it looked like on this side. I do end up wiping this off and just painting it all white using white chalk paint though. So this is what it looked like once I wiped it off. It wasn't hard to cover up because chalk paint is so thick. I only had to do one coat of white chalk paint and it did cover it up really well. So after allowing the white paint to dry, then I went in and redid my little Mickey paint splotches with the Puffy Paint. I do want to tell you guys that I did one coat and I let it fully dry. I ended up doing a total of 2 or 3 coats depending on how puffy the paint stayed on each color, because I really did want like a 3D effect on the paint. So it just kind of depends on your preference, but for certain colors I ended up needing to do 3 coats, and for some of them they were perfectly fine with 2. In order to wrap the center of the bow, I'm going to be using this teal colored trim that I had. It's a braided trim that I got from Hobby Lobby. It's really pretty, and I just liked the dimension that it gave to the colors that I'm using. I did cut a small strip, and then I'm going to be hot gluing that to the bottom of the ear, wrapping it around, and then tacking down the other end of the trim into hot glue. These little silicone finger covers are really good for making bows because this is a particular time where I tend to burn myself. I get them in a 3-pack from Dollar Tree and they work really, I say I get them, I've bought 1 pack ever and it's lasted me. They're fantastic. So unfortunately I did not film making this particular bow, but I am going to show you guys what I used. So I have this fabric that kind of looks like the pattern on Spaceship Earth at Epcot, but it's purple and pink like Figment, so I just thought it was perfect. I got this fabric from Joann's in a fat quarter, and then I created the bow, and I'm using this pink and purple braided trim around the center, but I do have a different bow tutorial that I'm going to insert in after this so that you guys can make your own bow still. It's just not using the same fabric, but the tutorial is the same. I am going to show you guys how to make a bow for this project, but I don't end up using the bow. So first I cut a felt rectangle that was 4 inches by 5 inches, and then I cut a rectangular square of fabric that was 7 inches by 9 inches to cover the felt. This fabric I had on hand from a set of Little Mermaid ears that I had made, and it's like green scales. So I thought it looked nice, but once I was done with the ears, I didn't end up attaching it because I preferred it without them. To attach these two things, I'm doing a line of hot glue on the sides of the felt first, and then I'm tapping down that scale fabric onto the felt. Then I'm going to fold in the fabric toward the center, and just hot glue that down by tacking down the ends. So I am folding in the ends and making sure I'm pinching them in so that I don't get any weird like puckering on the sides. This is my no-sew method of making bows, and honestly it kind of changes every time I do it, just depending on the fabric I'm using. If you guys want other suggestions of types of bows you can make, I do have a video of different bows, and some of them are sewing and some of them are not. So if you're like, I didn't like this style, but I want to check out some other ones, I do have a video on it. But I just tacked down the edges of the bow and then allowed that hot glue to dry. And then I'm going to pinch this bow into the bow shape using just like an accordion folding method. In order to wrap the center of the bow, I'm going to be using this teal colored trim that I had. It's a braided trim that I got from Hobby Lobby. It's really pretty, and I just liked the dimension that it gave to the colors that I'm using. I did cut a small strip, and then I'm going to be hot gluing that to the bottom of the ear, wrapping it around, and then tacking down the other end of the trim into hot glue. These little silicone finger covers are really good for making bows because this is a particular time where I tend to burn myself. I get them in a 3-pack from Dollar Tree, and they work really... I say I get them. I've bought 1 pack ever, and it's lasted me. They're fantastic. So after you've created your bow, then you are going to assemble your ears. These ears are not like normal ears, so I'm going to do something that I've done on another type of ear making video, and I'm going to drill holes into the bottom of this. So I did end up using a very odd sized drill bit, but you're gonna use a just normal drill, and then the drill bit, the pilot hole drill bit that I'm using is a 9/16 bit. And I just drilled 2 holes into the bottom. If I did this again, I would definitely do it before I painted because it actually made the chalk paint pop up on the back. This is the drill bit. It's 9/16 again. And then I also would drill 3 holes instead of 2 because it was a little bit tricky to stabilize them with only the 2 holes. I am going to show you guys how I did that, but I think if I did this again, I would pre-drill the holes before I painted because see here, the paint popped off. And then I would also do a 3rd hole and probably do less paint splotches. So I'm going to be using this super skinny white ribbon because this is what I have that will fit through the hole. It does not match the headband, which kind of stinks. I wish it was black, but it's what I had on hand, so I will be using this. And as you can see, I've already pre-laced it through those holes, and I am just feeding that around the headband, but I am going to loop this ribbon through those holes again. So right now I'm just doing a dot of hot glue and attempting to just secure it by tightening the ribbon around the headband. And I'm just holding it there and letting that glue dry. I'm going to continue to add a little bit more glue and also to string these ribbons through the holes one more time on each side, and then I'm going to glue the ends of the strands under the headband. This is kind of like, we're not tying it onto the headband, it's just providing some extra support and stability for these ears. Now these little wood paint palettes are so lightweight, honestly. You might be able to just hot glue them straight down onto the headband, but I like the extra security of knowing that there's something else holding it in place. So again, I just hot glued down the strands on the headband, and then I decided to go a little crazy with my hot glue, and I added a huge amount of hot glue on top of these strings after snipping off the excess. And I don't know how much of a difference that made because I didn't do it on the other side. So I tried to kind of swirl it around using that little silicone finger cover and just kind of smear it all over the ribbon, thinking that it would really stabilize it, but I do think that just gluing down the ribbon is about the same effect. After finishing on that side, I continued and did these exact same steps on the other side of the ears, attaching both of them, and then the final step is attaching the bow. So I applied glue directly to the center of my bow this time, and I'm firmly pressing it down onto the headband. It doesn't really matter if you put the glue on the headband or the bow first. This time I was trying to get it on film, so that's why I did it that way.
Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. I really appreciate it. If you guys could give this video a like and leave me a comment down below. If you don't know what to comment, then just leave me a little paint palette emoji so that I know you made it all the way to the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!